This might be the most fun I've had watching a horror movie all year. I so do not agree with the critic score on this one, guys. I fucking love this movie. So let me start off by saying I've never played this video game, so I'm not familiar with it at all. So I went into this movie basically entirely blind. Completely not familiar with the lore whatsoever. I feel like whether you played it or not, as well as people's expectations going into this movie, really determined how people felt about it. So some of the bad reviews I've seen in this movie say that it didn't do justice to the video games and it also wasn't scary. Personally, again, I wasn't familiar with the video game and I went into this movie expecting it to be fun and campy and nostalgic, and that's exactly what we got. First things first, I've been in love with Josh Hutcherson since the Bridge to Terabithia days, okay? So to see him in this movie was just so wholesome for me. And don't even get me started on Matthew Lillard, I've loved Matthew since Scream and since Scooby-Doo. So to see the two of them together in a horror movie, this already was going to be difficult for me to not like. I loved how the animatronics looked in this movie and the practical effects that they used. I really loved the use of music and sound in this movie. And while I did find it to be a bit predictable, I did like the storyline of this movie, and I especially liked the whole dream theory part of it. I did feel like the ending was a little bit rushed, and I'll get into some spoilers about that after. I'll give a warning. Again, I just found this movie so fun and so campy, and it was just like a nightmare version of Chuck E. Cheese, and I absolutely love that. Sure, the kills were a bit tame, but I found that to be fitting for the movie itself. Alright, now to get into some spoilers, and this is why I really love this movie. First, and this is why I said it was predictable, I fucking knew Matthew Lillard was the villain from the start. And I didn't give a fuck that that was predictable. I was actually so happy about it and so looking forward to what he was gonna do. And again, I knew it was him, but when that animatronic came out and did the knife swipe like Stu, I lost my fucking mind. I went absolutely batshit insane. And I was like, that's Matthew Lillard. Better yet, that is Stu Macher. I really did wish we got more of a showdown with him at the end. Like, I felt once he was revealed, it was a bit rushed. But when he's about to be killed and he says, I always come back, the fucking gasp I gasped. Parallel to Stu saying, I'll be right back. And in my Delulu mind, even though this might not even be in the same universe canonically, that confirmed for me that Stu Macher is alive and well. Yes, I'm insane. I fucking know it. But God, it was just so refreshing to see Matthew as a villain again and to see Josh Hutcherson. Was this a good movie? Not necessarily, so I understand why the critics are rating it low. But for horror fans who don't always necessarily give a fuck about the storyline and just want to watch a fun movie, this was it. Like, again, actual story and whatnot, probably a 5 out of 10, but overall for me, I'm giving this like an 8.5. This is going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. I had so much fun watching it.